Hello. So now that I did a video about how to help a kiddo write an essay, I wanted to do a quick one about how to grade them. So again, my name is Pam. I'm with Huntington Surrey School here in Austin, and I'm going to go ahead and get this underway. So I want to screen share in my other video. I talked about looking at examples, and one of the places, resources I love is the Oregon State writing sample papers from their state testing. So you can kind of gauge, where kids should be. So, and it's fine to share these with your child so that they get an idea of, again, what the expectations are. So I Googled ninth grade. My husband's in the background here playing a video game. I Googled ninth grade writing samples. And so for Oregon State, and this website pops up. So they break it down into what's considered kind of low, medium, high, medium, high. So let's say I'm planning on having my kiddo write an argument type of paper. So I'm gonna look at student number 1 who did this essay writing test. So this is their actual, misspellings and all. So this would be considered low. Okay. If we go back here, it explains why the paper was scored low. So you can read through this, and this basically teaches, it's a good way to teach you how you should be looking at your own child's work who is at that particular grade level. So they're talking about here ideas and content. Are their ideas really developed? Are there a lot of examples? What's going on here? Is it well organized, or are there thoughts like all over the place? Does the writer seem to have a voice? Do we get, feeling of the personality of the writer, all this stuff? So this is a really, really good resource to look at to give you a good idea. This would be a high argument, and you can see we've got our standard intro, bodies, and conclusion. So boom, this kiddo cranked out a 5-paragraph essay, and again, that's your kind of gold standard to hear. So you can Google these on your own. The URL is right up here, and you can take a look, and this will kind of help guide you if you're first starting out, knowing, trying to learn how to grade these things. The other thing you can do, and this is, you definitely want to use rubrics when you're grading. So a rubric is, if you just type right into Google National Common Core Writing Rubric 9th grade, this will pop up for you. This packet has this for 9th and 10th grade, and then they have a separate packet for 11th and 12th graders. And here they have the different types of writing that match the standards. When you look up the Common Core writing standards, they are, they want kids to be able to write an argument piece, an informative piece, and a narrative piece. So your rubrics are, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The rubrics are already done for you. So you want to grade your kids, obviously the goal is to get them here in this exceptional column for all of these things. And there are just slight differences between here, so you just want to read these closely. As you go through, you can print these out. They're free. They don't cost, anything. And then I was going to go ahead and grade a paper with you. So my other one I mentioned, this an essay about how white chocolate really isn't chocolate, and it was a pretty funny piece. So I wanted to kind of run through my mind while I'm grading papers, so you could, you know, see. So you can stop the video here if you want to, or you know, if you want to kind of watch me grade something, then you know, feel free to stay on. So basically, is white chocolate trash? Yes. So this is an argument piece. Some people love white chocolate. The first and easiest part for me to grade is just looking at the conventions. Is the student doing MLA? I went ahead and blocked out the kiddo's name, but I already see a couple MLA errors in here. There's supposed to be last name and page number up here that's missing. I know that there's not supposed to be extra spacing between the title, and I know this seems really nitpicky, but this stuff will be held, you know, if your kiddo is college bound, the stuff will be docked. So you do want to, it's better to be nitpicky in the beginning here. So I would, you know, take off some points for that. I would also look here, works cited looks okay, looks like it's in alphabetical order, the formatting looks good there. So what I do is if I go back to my rubric, this bottom guy here is style and convention. So the text presents a formal objective tone. So when I go back, I'm going to look for that. English conventions of usage and mechanics along with discipline specific requirements. So this was required to be an MLA. So I already saw a couple mistakes. So I might be looking somewhere in the range of, you know, if the rest of it is good, I would probably go ahead and, you know, just knock off a you know, point or so in here because it's not exactly MLA. The text presents an appropriate and formal tone, objective. The text demonstrates standard conventions of usage and mechanics along with discipline-specific requirements. Here, you know, this is where it does kind of fall into your judgment a little bit. The text presents an engaging, formal, and objective tone. So really, the difference between this column and this column, this is where I was saying you have to really pay attention to kind of the wording here, because there might be just a slight change of one word. So I'm really going to be looking to see if this is engaging or not. If it is engaging, then that's going to make me kind of score this around the halfway mark. So instead of putting it in a 4 here, I might do no 4.5. If I'm seeing a lot of spelling and mechanical and grammar errors, that might make me go ahead and fall a little bit more back here. It also depends on the student too and the situation and what the goals are. So like this particular student, you know, if they're dyslexic and maybe the writing goal is to have them just really carefully proofread just one of these paragraphs. And if they have 0 mistakes in one paragraph, then they met their goal and I'm not going to dock them for a bunch of other errors through their paper. So you definitely, if you have a kid who's dyslexic or dysgraphic, you definitely don't want to fill their paper with red marks. You want to have like one specific goal in mind. So maybe it is, you know, when it's a younger kid, maybe it is they are going to capitalize the first level, you know, one of every letter of every sentence, and that's their goal. Then if they met that, great. Don't dock the rest of it. Just hit these one goal at a time, because otherwise you're going to really discourage the kids and they're going to hate writing. So make it one very doable goal and then do not take off points for the other stuff. So going back to this paper, okay, so I'm going to kind of try to see if it's formal and if I'm engaged. So when you're grading papers, you really want to read through them. You're going to end up reading through them a few times as you go through each of these categories. White chocolate is trash. Objectively, it's not even chocolate. So already I'm kind of laughing. My reaction is I am engaged in this. I think it's funny. But you know, maybe you don't, maybe you know you're bored, so we'll keep reading. Liquid that is taken from the cocoa bean to make chocolate does not appear in white chocolate. The cocoa butter does appear in white chocolate. That does not mean it has the honor of being real chocolate, even with the distinction of it being called white. Chocolate is a beautiful confectionery that the making of has been studied and scrutinized for hundreds of years. It is held in high regard. Even in the olden times, chocolate was a luxury for the rich. Now, anyone with $2 can taste this triumph of human ingenuity. But how do we repay chocolate? We make something that has no right to call itself candy, let alone chocolate, and yet we put it on the same tier. So clearly she's making an argument. You know, the form is, the tone here, fairly formal. So again, I'm inclined to stick in that 4.5, 5 range for the other thing. Okay, other things to look at. I'm not going to run through this whole thing, otherwise we'll be here for an hour and I don't want to keep you that long. But then I would go ahead and just look at my guide here and then just focus on one thing at a time. You know, claim. The text introduces a clear, arguable claim that can be supported by reasons and evidence. So the text introduces a compelling claim versus a precise claim. Again, I'm amused by this essay. I find it compelling, so I'm gonna, you know, hit it somewhere over here. It's clearly arguable and takes a purposeful position on an issue. The text has structure and organization that is carefully crafted to support the claim. So really this part in here, when I'm reading through this next bit, I'm gonna, you know, really focus in on it. Are the ideas, you know, are the sentences flowing together? Are they organized? So when I look back at that first paragraph, white chocolate is trash. Okay, it's a pretty broad thing. Objectively, it's not even chocolate. The liquid that is taken from the cocoa bean to make chocolate does not appear in white chocolate. So these 3 sentences here do seem to, for me, have an organization, a hierarchy. The cocoa butter does appear in white chocolate. That does not mean it has the honor of being real chocolate, even with the distinction of it being called white. Okay? Little iffy on that sentence, but I'm still getting it, okay? Chocolate is a beautiful confectionery. The making has been studied for hundreds of years. There's a little bit of a place where I don't think these 2 sentences flow together. I would like to see a better transition between here. So it's not perfect. But then the rest of these sentences, even in the olden time, chocolate was a luxury for the rich. Now, anyone with $2, this all is making sense to me and seems to be organized, these thoughts here. So not perfect, might give a little hit deduction for in there. You know, one thing then after looking at this intro, I would be looking for is counter arguments. Does the student have counter arguments as to why some people like white chocolate? So really, that would be the main other thing that I would be looking in. If you look at the rubric, if Zoom will let me get out into the rubric. Here we go. If we look at the rubric, right in here, the text provides convincing and relevant data and evidence to back up the claim effectively and effectively addresses counterclaims. Okay, so this is where, you know, reading back through, I'm going to check and make sure that there are counterclaims to this. If not, then that's going to put me lower here on the rubric as I'm grading it. Audience, this part is consistently addresses the audience's knowledge and level and concerns about the claim. This one, if a child is doing an analysis of, for example, a book, I really try to ingrain in there that, you know, you have to assume that your reader has not read the book. I know this doesn't pertain to the white chocolate essay, but just a, you know, if they're making an argument about, you know, why this character is symbolic of, you know, Jesus or whatever it is, they can't just say, you know, Bob's, you know, did this, and clearly it's like, well, no, you've got to explain to me who is Bob. You know, I haven't read the book. You've got to tell me these things. So this is one to really, really watch out for. You know, in this essay, it's making perfect sense to me. There's no, you know, terminology that I don't understand that needs to be further explained. So this particular chocolate, you know, essay does not run into that problem. Here, you know, are they using their transition words and transition sentences? Furthermore, therefore, however, although, additionally, finally, you know, they're using all of those things. And in the you know, in the conclusion as well. So this is how I grade an essay. Hope this was helpful. If you have questions or, you know, if there's anything I can do to help you out, please let me know. Just with all the craziness in the world, you know, just wanting to do my part here and help out where I can using my teaching experiences. If there's anything I can do to help you out, please feel free to email me, info@huntingtonsurrey.org. Again, my name is Pam, and thanks for watching.